Good morning, everyone, and welcome to today's webinar. I am Emma Levin. I'm General Counsel here at Mina, and I'll be your host for today's session. Today is a really exciting day as our greatly anticipated Onefleet solution has now officially been launched. The aim of this webinar is to guide you through our Onefleet offering, highlighting the benefits of this all-inclusive EV charging subscription, and to discuss, of course, our integral partnership with EV installation experts PlugMeIn. Before we get stuck in though, if you do have any questions for our panelists, you can submit them via the chat function and we'll do our best to answer as many as we can towards the end of the session. You'll be pleased to know that it isn't just me talking today. We have a brilliant panel ready to join us. Please can I ask the panel to join the virtual stage and we'll get started with all important introductions. Thanks. Ash, do you want to kick us off?
Yeah, thanks, Emma. Good morning, everyone. My name's Ashley. I'm the CEO at Mina.
Hi, everyone. My name's Ben. I'm the Operations Director at PlugMeIn. Absolute pleasure to be with you this morning. So thank you to the Mina team for inviting me.
Morning, everyone. Thank you ever so much for joining us. My name's Andy. I'm Business Development Manager for Corporate Fleets at Mina. And we're really excited to talk to you about home charge today. So no, we're not. We're really excited to talk to you about Onefleet today. So Onefleet does actually include our home charge products. So I'll give you a brief overview of the products that we offer and then what Onefleet does as well. So it's going to include our award-winning home charge products that allows take-home fleet drivers to get their energy paid for directly to their energy supplier on behalf of their fleet. Really sort of encompassing the fuel card process, but for EVs. As well as that, you get a charge pass, which would allow you to charge at 16 different 16 different charge point operators all around the UK, somewhere around 12,500 charge points. So if you do get stuck and you do need to charge on the road, then you are absolutely able to do so. Now, what we've done with Onefleet is we've been able, with our partners PlugMeIn, to wrap both of those products up with a Mina compatible home charger. So it includes an installation, it includes service, it includes maintenance, it includes an MOT, so your charger will be checked every single year to make sure it's working correctly. As well as that, if in the event that an employee moves home, we can facilitate that. If the charge point goes down for any reason, all that service and maintenance is included, but also we will give you free consumption on your charge pass whilst that charge point is being repaired. So your fleet are always going to be up and about and ready to go. So as well as that, it includes one single monthly invoice. So all of this, including the subscription fee for the charger and our products, will be included with your energy costs on one single monthly invoice. As far as cost goes, it's £100 upfront plus £49 a month plus your energy fees, of course, and it really is the fastest way to go from zero to net zero.
Thanks, Andy. That was a really great overview. Now I'd like to dive into our relationship between Mina and PlugMeIn and why it's such an important partnership for us to be able to deliver the Onefleet solution. Ash, I'm going to come to you first, if that's okay. Can you talk us through how the partnership started?
Yeah, sure. Yeah, thanks, Emma. So when we first started Mina, we were very much focused on delivering a software solution, and customers used to ask us for advice on hardware. They would say to us, can you manage the installation? Can you provide the charge points? And our stance was always no, we don't want to get involved in that. But we soon realized that we had to get involved in that, because what was then happening was customers were going away, buying their own charge points, sometimes not always the best charge points, sometimes receiving really poor installation from parties that we weren't related to, and that was just causing knock-on effects. It was the very first step, if you like, in their EV journey, and if it was a bad experience, it was just not a great way to kick things off for fleets, their drivers. So we decided that we were going to solve this problem. We went out looking for a partner. There's lots of companies out there that do installation, but but when we put the tender together and when we had the presentation back, genuinely Plug Me In were miles ahead of everyone else. You know, what I think one of the small things they do, probably quite a big thing for them in all honesty, is the driver does not need to complete their own home survey. Plug Me In will go out, do the survey, understand the property, understand where the charger can be positioned. They will check the fuse board and do all of that for the driver. So you're not relying on the driver having to go through an app or it's a completely hands-off process. So far we've had trial installs and we are very pleased with the quality and service that they've been delivering.
Great, thanks Ash. I've really enjoyed working with Plug Me In myself so far. Ben, why don't you tell us as well what the partnership means to Plug Me In?
Yeah, thanks, Emma. So similar to what Ash has just said there, we've been working with fleets ourselves for a number of years, and it's the same question that we get asked. So you know, we're working with them to install the charge points, and then they ask us how can they compensate their drivers for their home energy use. So we've actually been referring our customers to Mina for quite a while now. So this is great that we can come together with one fleet where it's actually a seamless journey. We use Mina ourselves, so within the group we've got about 500 vans. We're in the process of electrifying our fleet as well, and it's great that we can have Mina to support us and make that transition much simpler. The great thing about one fleet is it brings the two businesses together, so it's much simpler for business now to get started. It takes all the complexity away of having to sign two contracts, to have different invoices every month. It's really, really simple. So everything's just provided all in one place, and then the fleet just have to pay one single monthly invoice for everything to do with the charger.
Yeah, I think that's right. It's a really important advantage to this solution that businesses of any size should be able to paint a clear picture of their future costs. It's obvious to me that energy costs will vary depending on the driver, where they choose to charge, what their electricity tariff is. Ash, how can businesses get a better understanding of how much their fleet's energy costs will actually be over the coming year?
Yeah, so I think the first place I would recommend people go is to our website. We have an energy cost calculator tool on there. You can plug in the number of ICE or petrol and diesel vehicles you have and the number that you want to transition to electric. You select whether these vehicles are going to be charging at home, in public, or a mixture of both, and it will spit out a number that says this is how much we estimate you'll be able to save. I think second to that is that one fleet is aimed at fleets and drivers who can charge at home. But we do include the charge pass or the on the road card, because even if you can charge at home, while 95% of your charging may have happened there, you will always need the public network, almost certainly. You know, I use it probably once a month, but you know, without the public network, I just wouldn't be able to make an EV work. But I just wanted to throw some figures out there, because so we've done an ROI, or a return on investment, for one fleet, comparing it to what it would cost if you didn't invest in one fleet or didn't invest in a home charger. So if you were to give one of your drivers an electric vehicle and say, here's a card, all your charging needs to be done on the road, versus if you rolled out one fleet product, paid the monthly subscription, the savings are pretty astronomical. So for an average driver doing 10,000 miles per year, this includes the cost of our subscription. Now, I appreciate not 100% of the charging will be done at home, but this is just for illustrative purposes. If 100% of that charging was done at home versus in public, you would save around £2,500 every year. Now, there is we factored in some downtime there, because if you're going to a public charger, even if you're productive, you've still got to get to that charger, plug in, set it up, unplug. Whereas if you're charging at home, it's just you unplug your vehicle and off you go. But the most obvious savings for home charging, I say obvious, they're obvious to me because I know the costs, but it costs around 75 pence per kilowatt to charge on a rapid or ultra rapid charger in public. As of the 1st of July this year, the price cap has come in and home charging will now be around 30 pence per kilowatt. So it's less than half the price to charge at home, which is why we think it's so important to launch Onefleet and to really help fleets make installing hardware affordable and reliable.
Thanks, Ash. Yeah, the energy cost calculator is a great tool. We recommend everyone give it a go. We can send across a link after this webinar so you can all give it a try. Moving back to the partnership with Plug Me In now, Ben, what can our Onefleet customers expect with regards to the important stuff, installation, servicing, maintenance? Do you want to talk us through that a little bit more?
Yeah, thanks, Emma. So as Ash mentioned earlier, one of the unique things about working with Plug Me In is we don't want the driver to lift a finger other than name and address and basic contact details. We come in and do the rest. It can be quite complicated. So getting photographs of the fuse board, the cutout, the bonding, it's quite complicated for drivers to get their head around. So we take all that pain away. All we ask for is an appointment time to come in and do all that work for them. We've got a national team. There's about 400 or 500 people in that team, and they can be anywhere in the country, Monday to Friday, 9 to 5. You choose the time slot that you need, and we come and take all that away from you. That feeds into our technical team, who will review the job, plan the job, make sure any approvals are sort of done before they book the driver. We've got a highly trained workforce that is nationwide, all fully qualified electricians and all fully employed by Plug Me In. We also work with some of the best hardware manufacturers in the market. And Indra, who is with us on the Onefleet service, we've worked with them for over 2 years. Really great kit. We've installed 100 of their chargers, and we've got a great partnership with them. The three businesses have actually integrated together, which means that the three organisations can provide seamless service to the customer. As Andy said earlier, we also come every year to give the charger a bit of an MOT, make sure it's all in good working condition, which gives the driver just extra peace of mind. And we've also got the 24/7 customer support team, if anything should ever go wrong. Finally, we're also backed by Counsel, which is a leading owner and provider of smart energy infrastructure that's been trading for over 20 years now. So why is that important? It means that we're here for the long run. Your journey and your business is going to change in the future, so we'll be around for however long you need us.
Sounds great. Yeah, certainly sounds like the easiest and simplest solution. If I could bring it back to Andy now, in your experience of working with fleets, how can Onefleet support them in reaching their net zero and sustainability goals?
As Ash alluded to right at the start of the conversation, we tend to be, somewhere around the first people that people come and see when they're thinking about making that transition to EV. So for us to be able to recommend and to do absolutely everything for them right off the bat, to recommend superb hardware, to offer them the award-winning home charge solution, it does allow any fleet size, be it one driver all the way up to thousands of vehicles, to be able to scale and to be able to start that transition to EV really, really quickly. And at a cost of somewhere around £1,000 plus for a charger install, it really is a massive investment for businesses to get to that net zero and transition their entire fleet to EV. So what Onefleet does is it allows them to make that start without that huge capital expenditure initially.
Great, thank you very much to all of our panelists. We do have a couple of audience questions. If anyone does have anything else they'd like to ask, now is your time. Add those into the chat function. The first question we've had, which I'll send over to Ben, is what chargers are being installed for Onefleet customers? Yeah,
so it's the Indra Smart Pro charger, which comes in a socket and tethered format. So the driver picks which type they would like, purely based on their individual circumstances.
Great stuff. Thank you very much. Next question I've got on my list. What the process is from the contract being signed right through to installation of the charge point. Andy, maybe you can take that one.
Yeah, I'll take that one. So once a contract's signed, we will liaise with Plug Me In, and we can send over a list of your initial drivers to Plug Me In. The drivers will then be sent a unique link to go and book their site survey. So as we said, it's a physical site survey, which is one of the best parts about it. So you're going to get a trained electrician, trained installer come around to your property, make sure everything's ready to be installed, and then up to sort of 2 weeks after that, the charge point will be installed, and off you go. Make paying for your EV charging radically simple.
Great, thanks very much, Andy. One of the points I don't think we covered on the webinar so far is how this solution, in particular our home charge bit of the solution, compares to reimbursing drivers using the AER rate. Ash, do you want to just give a bit of a summary of that?
Yeah, sure. Yeah, so the AER rate is, on paper, by far the simplest way to pay reimbursed drivers for the costs of charging their electric vehicles. It's a single pence per mile. The biggest issue with the AER, and we've seen this in some of the data, is it's so difficult to come up with a fair rate. And if you compare that to fuel, so fuel, while the cost of fuel varies from supermarket to motorway, the variation is, as a percentage, is relatively small. Whereas with EV, the variations are huge. You can go from 7 pence if you're on a tariff like one of Octopus's intelligent tariffs, up to even £1 on the road. So that's crazy percentage point difference. And if you look at some more reports, out of nearly 250,000 charging sessions in one of our latest reports, the actual percentage number is 0.02% were equal to the AER rate, and 78% cost more. So what our system does, it just pays actual costs. So the charge point monitors the electricity that goes into the vehicle. Our home charge product, which is all part of the Onefleet's solution, tracks the tariff, each individual's tariff, and then we pay the energy supplier directly for the actual cost of the electricity that's gone into that vehicle. So it's fair, and you just avoid any disparity about who's being paid too much, who's being paid too less, and then all the arguments that often come with the AER rate.
Thanks, Ash. That's helpful. I think one of the other key questions that fleets will have is what happens if midway through their contract with one fleet, an employee decides to leave the company. Ben, maybe do you want to take that and just explain what would happen next?
Yeah, thanks, Emma. So this is a really key, important feature when we were putting the Onefleet solution together. We understand that employees don't stay in one place forever. People move businesses, all the time. People move businesses, people move home. And that's a great thing about Onefleet. It provides that flexibility. So the last thing you want to do is have your employees without the ability to charge vehicles at home. The last thing you need from us is penalties or other costs for when employees do leave. Going into the too much detail, we're happy to move charges around within fleets. The main thing that we need to do is make sure that it happens swiftly, so it's all sort of done within a reasonable timescale. We work with the driver and the fleet managers to make sure that that's done seamlessly. We're happy to move from one employee house, the outgoing employee, a new one within the business. Sometimes the employee that's leaving might want to keep the charger for a reason. They may have a private vehicle, or they may be getting a electric vehicle with their new employer. So we're actually happy if the employee wants to effectively purchase the charger from us at that point. We're happy to do so, and we'll agree a fair market value with the employee at that time.
Great, yeah. A good amount of flexibility, I think, is what we decided in our partnership, which is great. We've had another question asking around the sort of EV billing charging as separate from household billing, as I think drivers would need some assurance. Andy, do you want to just explain a bit more how that works for home charge?
Yeah, absolutely. So as Ash alluded to earlier, when a driver onboards with us, we will get their energy supplier details and all of their tariff information. We then combine that with the data that we get from the Indra charge points to ensure that we are paying accurately, actual cost for charging that vehicle. So whilst it doesn't work independently, because it is still down to the driver to pay their home energy costs, there's some really powerful legislation from Ofgem, who regulate the energy market, that say energy suppliers have to take into account any and all payments when calculating direct debits. So the payments that are being made to the driver's energy supplier by Mina every single month are always taken into account when calculating a driver's direct debit, and therefore they don't need to worry about escalating costs and things like that.
Great, thanks, Andy. We've had another question to ask whether the £49 monthly charge is for an initial period or whether that reduces over time or is a continuous figure. Ash, maybe do you want to take that and explain the benefits of the Onefleet solution over time?
Yeah, sure. Yeah, so the £49 is a continuous figure. It's designed in that way as the charge is essentially on lease. So we guarantee to keep that charger maintained. We guarantee to keep it working. If it breaks, we'll either repair or replace it. As Andy mentioned earlier, if it also breaks and we're not able to fix it within 2 days, you'll be able to charge in public for free until we can fix the charger or replace it. So the whole model is designed, I guess, almost like charging as a service. So you get at home charging, you get on the road charging, and you get your hardware and almost the insurance policy that there will be no additional costs in repairing, replacing, maintaining these chargers.
Great stuff. I think we're doing okay on time. I will ask another question that's just come in. Do you also offer public charging solutions that could be used for our fleet or customers, therefore could be revenue generating if the latter, or is there only one simple option being delivered currently with the Mina software managing the invoicing? Andy, maybe do you want to take that one?
Yeah, I can certainly try. I think it's probably worth a conversation with this person after the meeting as well. But just as a bit of a high level, what we can do. The short answer is yes. All of our products are standalone as well as being wrapped up in the Onefleet solution. If you were looking to offer our product to some of your customers, then yes, that's absolutely something that we'd consider revenue generating, obviously both for us and potentially yourselves as well. So probably one to offline, and we can go through the variety of options that are available. But short answer, yes.
Yeah. For whoever this person is, probably best to email sales@mina.co.uk afterwards, and we can pick that one up. Another question that's come through. Apologies if I missed this, joined a bit late, no problem at all. Does the Onefleet account for depot charging and home charging?
Do you want me to say that? Yeah, so Onefleet is home and on the road at the moment. So home charging, on the road charging, and the hardware. Depot is something that Plug Me In can deliver as a separate service. Depot is quite complicated when it comes to installation, quite difficult to wrap a fixed price around. I would say watch this space for what's coming in terms of bringing all those three areas of charging together, so home, public, and on the road. There'll be something we'll be talking about around how that's all going to be consolidated.
Couple of other questions. If an install is at an employee's home and they use their work vehicle for personal use, how will the charging operate with regards to things like BIC and HMRC, and making sure that it isn't unfair on the driver or the organisation? Andy, do you want to pick this one up?
Yeah, I'll preface this by saying we don't give tax advice and would recommend that everyone seeks their own that's the caveats out of the way. So essentially, with our One Fleet solution, we are able to differentiate between two or more EVs at home using multi-EV mode. So included within the package is something that's normally an extra cost to, let's say, just our home charge customers. What it allows a driver to do is to toggle a charge to say that it's their work vehicle that's being charged. So then we will only pay their energy supplier for that one. As far as benefit in kind and HMRC benefits go, that's really up to the fleet in terms of what they do. So what we find most fleets doing is that we will pay all of the charging for that vehicle, then within their solution, you know, they've probably got an in-house solution, be that an Excel spreadsheet or a piece of software that, you know, calculates and records mileage, and it's just a case of, you know, splitting that between the personal and the business mileage split. So let's say they've used £150 worth of charging, they've done 50% business, 50% personal, then £75 would therefore need to be reclaimed through payroll, and then there's no benefit in kind implications because that's being reclaimed.
Yep. Great stuff. Final question potentially, asking basically where they can read more about One Fleet. We can send through some materials to all the guests following the webinar. I've already mentioned that I will send through a link to the energy cost calculator, but we'll make sure we send some other information as well. That's absolutely fine. I'm just going to check if we've got any last questions. One final one. Is there a discount on the monthly cost with a higher volume of vehicles?
That's one again for offline, so I'd really be interested in speaking to this person after the meeting. I'm absolutely certain that we can sort something out depending on fleet size. So short answer, yes. Let's see how many you've got, and if we can come to some sort of arrangement.
Good stuff. We will leave it there as it's 27 minutes past. Thank you everyone that's joined us on the webinar today. We hope you found it interesting and insightful. Special thank you, of course, to our wonderful panel, especially Ben, who's joined us from Plug Me In today. If you do want to learn more about One Fleet, as mentioned, I will send across some materials afterwards. And if you do have any questions for Andy or the rest of the team, do email us at sales@mina.co.uk. Thank you very much, and hope to see you again soon for another webinar.
Thanks, everyone.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank you.